This was a compulsory question that appeared in the June 2025 exam for the subject Marketing Metrics and Analytics as examined by the Zambia Institute of Marketing. The question required students to compute the total profit generated by a company, the company is given, over a given period of time. The question itself read as follows. Fresh Harvest Enterprises began selling pineapples in addition to their regular stock of cassava. The company ordered 60 boxes of pineapples from Mansa. Fresh Harvest Enterprises spent 6,000 kwacha on this order. Each box of pineapples was then sold for 250 kwacha. Each box of pineapples was then sold for 250 kwacha. Over the next 5 months, the company's profits increased by 10% each month. Over the next 5 months, the company's profits increased by 10% each month. However, in June and July, profits declined by 10% per month. However, in June and July, profits declined by 10% per month. The company recorded total operating costs at 25% of revenue. 20% of revenue was towards total operating costs. Once more, students were required to compute the total profits generated. To compute the total profits generated by this company, which is Fresh Harvest Enterprises, over the given period of time. And this given period of time is 5 months. 5 months. So we know already that we are dealing with months. And these months are January, February, March, April, May, June, and July. What's involved? Boxes. Okay, boxes of pineapples. Boxes of pineapples. How many? 60 boxes. And this is a constant. 60 boxes. This is a constant. What was the selling price for each of the boxes? The selling price, we are told, was 250 kwacha. 250 kwacha. Again, this is a constant. 250 kwacha, this is a constant. And so the selling price of 250 applies through the months. What do we get? We get revenue from the sale of these boxes. We get revenue from the sale of these boxes of pineapples. And the revenue is the quantity multiplied by the selling price. We get our calculator. You are allowed to go with the calculator on the exam. So it is 60 multiplied by this 250. 60 multiplied by the 250, which gives us 15,000. 15,000. So here it is 15,000. All right. We are told that over the next 5 months, the company's profits increased by 10%. The company's profits increased by 10%. So here, then we're going to indicate profit. Okay. Profit plus minus. Profit plus to indicate an increment, minus to indicate a decrement. And in this case, we are told here that it is 10%. So we are told that in this particular case, for the month of January, 60 boxes sold at this selling price. This was the revenue. Okay. How much then would be our profits? How much then would be our profits? It's 10% of this particular revenue. We get our calculator. 10% is basically 10 divided by 100, which is 0.1. And we multiply this by the revenue, 15,000. It gives us 1,500. This 1,500 is going to be added to the revenue. This 1,500 is going to be added to the revenue. So we're going to add 15,500. And what does it give us? 16,500. This is our profit. 16,500. 16,500. Good. How about for the month of February? Now take note. No need to do all other extra calculations other than what I'm about to show you. And this is on the basis that Over the next 5 months, the company's profits increase by 10% each month. So in 1 month, you have this particular amount of money as your profit. And we are told that it increases by 10%. It increases by 10%. So what is 10% of 16,500? What is 10% of 16,500? We get our calculator. 16,500 multiplied by 0.1, that is 10%, it gives us 1,650. This 1,650 is what we add to this 16,500. So it's this amount plus 16,500. This gives us 18,150. And this is what we're going to place here. 18,150. 18,150. We do the same for March. We add 10% on top of this 18,000. Back to our calculator. 10%, again, remember it's 10 over 100. Okay, we multiply this by 18,150. It gives us that amount, this amount right over here. This amount, we add it to the 18,150 and it gives us 19,965. And that's what we're going to put here, 19,965. For the next month, we do the same thing. Get our calculator. It's 10% multiplied by 19,965. It gives us this amount. This plus 19,965 itself, it gives us 21,969.5. 21,961. But then you notice that we've been dealing with what? We've been dealing with whole numbers. We're not dealing with decimal numbers. So we'll round this off. It will be 21,962. Remember, it's a 5. So when you want to take away this decimal place, if it's 5 and above, you move 1 onto the left. So it will be 21,962. 21,962. All right. Let's put it where we ought to put it, right over here. And that is 21,962. 21,962. We do the same for the month of May. It is 10% multiplied by 21,962. And it gives us this amount. This amount, we are going to add it to what we have there, which is 21,962. And it gives us 24,158. 24,158, which is what we are going to indicate right over here. 24,158. 24,158. Good. Take note, we are now in the month of June, and we were told that in the month of June, okay, in the month of June, profits declined by 10%. So for June, we take note of our profits for the month of May, less 10%. Why? Because profits have declined by 10%. This was our last profit. For the next month, it declines by 10%. We get our calculator. 10% of this amount right over here. 24,158. This is how much it gives us. We are not going to work with the decimal point, and therefore this is going to be 2416. 2416. This is the amount of money that we are going to less, that we are going to subtract from our last profit. We are going to subtract it. Why? Because profits have gone down by this amount. Profits have gone down by this amount. So it is this amount we are subtracting from this amount. Okay? So this amount, therefore, minus 24,158. And what does it give us? 21,742. And we'll write that over here. 21,742. 21,742. Again, for the month of July, profits went down by 10%. 10% of this amount. 10% of this amount. So we get our calculator again. 10% multiplied by 21,742. 742. This is what we get. 2174. 2174. 2174. This is going to be subtracted from the 21,742. And it gives us 19,568. And we're going to write this right over here. 19,568. Good. 19,568. This is what accounts for our total profits. This is what accounts for our total profits. And this gives us how much? It gives us 142,045 kwacha. There. 142,045 kwacha. This is our total profits. This is our total profits. It is important at this point to take note that we were told that the company recorded total operating costs at 20% of revenue. 20% of revenue. Basically, 20% of our final profits. So we get our calculator, 20% of this amount. 20% of this amount. Okay? So it's 20% multiplied by 142,045. This gives us 28,408. 28,408. So you can indicate this as your total profits. Okay, since say total revenue, you might as well use the words that I use. Total revenue, and then the operating costs. Okay, operating costs. Operating costs. Our operating costs, remember what we calculated? There it is, 28409. 28409. So it is 28409. 28409. Okay. So our net profit then as a business, our net profit would be this, take away that. Okay. It would be this, take away this, isn't it? And that gives us this amount. This was our net profit in this particular case. And this is what student basically needed to have done for the first part. Using a table and visual dashboard, compute the total profit generated by the company. Compute the total profit generated by the company. So it's using a table, isn't it? So, well, then we make this a table. Is that it? No. The student was required to use a table and visual dashboard. To use a table and visual dashboard. In this case, for example, a student would use a bar chart, which is what I would demonstrate in my classes. And so I invite you to join my classes. My name is Saboy. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. 37, Captain 37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. I will show you how to have attempted the other questions in class. Goodbye.